Hey guys, I'm Jackie Brubaker. I'm an author, producer, 2-time Emmy Award winner, and host of That Girl the Podcast. Each week, I bring on inspiring people and stories to help you become that girl or that guy in your life. That Girl the Podcast is based on the romantic comedy That Girl a Novel, which is now available as a podcast to listen to. Listen to each chapter about finding yourself and adulting in LA. Find That Girl a Novel everywhere you listen to your podcasts. You can also find it on Amazon to buy the Kindle or paperback of. For more, find us at thatgirlthepodcast.com and follow us on Instagram at thatgirlthepodcast and our Patreon page. Hey guys, it's Jackie Brubaker, and today I am going to do a solo That Girl the Podcast. I know I don't usually do solo podcasts, but I recently had a moment where I really felt pissed and upset by a few things someone I didn't know said to me, and I really felt like it was a good time to get into haters gonna hate, let's quote T Swift and just talk about what happens when people say things to you that aren't true and how you really take them in, and then how do you process them. So I'm also going to give you 5 things to conquer and work better with the process of self-doubt. I've been pretty open that I'm coming back from a pretty devastating Me Too experience that happened in high school, and it happened in the musical theater world, which is where I lived. I lived in that world and had trained to be on Broadway my whole life, had done quite a few shows, and then this horrible thing happened, and it just really crushed me. I was at a very pivotal time of going to college, and this person just kept showing up at like almost every audition I went to. So I stopped doing musical theater. And instead I went into the music industry and had some really good success, but also wasn't really doing what I wanted to do. So for years, I just felt miserable. I wanted to do musical theater. I wanted to sing the way that I sing. And finally, I processed my Me Too experience, which is, to be honest, it's not like, oh cool, I processed it and now it's over. Like, most of it's healed, but it is something that stays with you for a very long time, as trauma does. It's just a matter of how much are you going to let it affect your present. Once you've really worked it out, it's like when you break a plate, it's broken. You can glue it back together, but it's still broken. And I'm not calling myself broken, but I am definitely saying that there was a trauma there. And so when recently I had someone who was an acquaintance refer another acquaintance to me to give me some help, navigating getting back into musical theater, which is already a soft spot for me. It's kind of doubly hard for me. And I'm sure that you all have been in a situation where you're just really going to fight it. You're going to fight, the dragon and be like, I'm going to do this no matter how scared I am or how much, how hard this is. And so that's what I'm doing. And, it's a lot of work, and it's work that I'm willing to put in because I love it and I love what I do and I want to do more of it. So I hopped on a call with this person, and I was told that she, had quite a lot of experience in that world and could, give me some really good advice on, finding an agent or, all the kind of beginning things. And I was like, great. Okay. Excited to talk to her. And this woman basically knew nothing about me. I assume probably just perused my website, maybe listened to a few clips of some songs, which is fine, by the way. I think you can tell if a person can sing in a really short amount of time. So, not upset with that. But she ripped me to shreds. And there is a difference between someone actively ripping you to shreds because they hate themselves inside, and yes, I'm going to be that blunt, and then someone who's giving you constructive criticism. And I know the difference, and this was not it. And it was almost like, whoa, is this actually happening right now? Like, the way that she was speaking to me was so old school. Women don't help women. They tear each other down. And then if, you've been in that situation where, an older woman from your parents' generation or your grandparents' generation has like basically just told you like, you should just throw the towel. You're not good at this. Like, you shouldn't even do this because now you're just too old. It's like, oh, it was like opposites day. She's like, you should never do this and you should never do that. And I'm like, but that's what I do. Anyway, it doesn't matter like the specifics of it. This woman clearly was coming from a place of A, hating herself, B, not doing what she wanted to do in this world, and also C, wanting to hurt someone she didn't even know. And so regardless of how, in touch with yourself and psychology and all the self-help books, like logically you can be like, you know what, this isn't true. And I know it's not true and I'm okay with it. We're only human, and people that are manipulative and want to tear you down will hit pressure points that will hurt. No matter whether they're real or not, we all have our insecurities, and it hurts when someone says something to you that could possibly be true or is your worst fear/insecurity. And so I just, this just happened yesterday. And so I processed last night and I've been processing today, and I'm pretty good. But I wanted to just talk about how self-doubt can be really stirred up because of other people's shit. So when you have someone who is like, you shouldn't even try this, you shouldn't even do this, sometimes it's coming from a lot of different places. Sometimes it's coming from one. They hate that you're doing it and they can't. Whether they're good at it or talented in it or not. It's just, small-minded people, there's that quote, like small-minded people, want to tear you down and or whatever. I'm sure y'all have known it. I'm terrible with quotes and I'm really terrible with sayings. But the idea is that small-minded people want to like hurt other people because they don't think big for themselves. They're not brave for themselves. And so it's easier to, be manipulative and have power trips over people who are being brave and are being courageous with their lives. It's also not, there's one quote that I do know very well. It's my favorite. That is, feel the fear and do it anyway. Just be courageous. Courage does not mean that you're not scared. It just means you do it anyway. You say, I want it more than this fear. And that's very true of people who go for what they want. And I have a lot of practice in feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And this is my biggest fear. This is my biggest thing, which is, going back into this world that hurt me so badly. And, from one person. It's not like the whole musical theater world like said no to me. Like that's never actually happened because I never got that far to even get the no. But then, while I was listening to this person talk to me yesterday, I actually had a thought go through my head. And I do think that it's, your higher self, your guides, your angels, God, whatever you subscribe to. Maybe it's just the part of you that just knows better. And all I heard was, not like audibly, but in my head was, you don't have to accept this as truth. And when I felt that, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Like, I don't have to accept this as truth. This isn't true. And I know it's not true. And this isn't that it's not true because I don't want it to be. It's that it's not true because it isn't. And everyone and their mom is very clear that it isn't because they've told me. And, so when you are, engaged with someone, whether it's a close person or not a close person, you're human, they hit pressure points and it stings. So I just want you to remember, and I'm telling myself this at the same time, that most of the time, this is about them and their insecurities. Just give yourself some grace and allow yourself to feel pissed, and then allow yourself to feel sad, and allow yourself to, I'm about feeling my feelings. I want to feel them. I don't want to push them aside because that's the easy thing to do, but that's not the effective way to actually make them go away forever. But, that's human. And not all of us are, sociopaths who can't feel anything. Like most of us feel things even when we don't want to. So just give yourself some grace and be kind to yourself. I can never stress that enough in conversations with others. Just be kind to yourself and feel the feelings. And then, also with self-doubt, like again, with the fear, let the fear come up and just be like, yeah, but you know what? What if I never do this thing that I love, regardless of what it is? What if I never do it and I always regret it? Who wins? You don't. And then the person who was fleeting in your life, or worse, someone who's close to you, they win. They win by being small-minded, and their personal issues got projected on you, and then you don't fulfill what you came here to do in this world. And that's not good either. So basically, fuck them. And just keep moving on with you. Keep training, keep learning, keep going for the scary stuff, keep trying out to do what you want to do, because you'll only get better. You'll keep learning, and you'll put them in their place in a way that no words ever could. Because bullies, which is who these people really are, they want you to lose. They want you to stop trying just because it makes them feel powerful. Literally, you're letting them have power over you and in your life and achieving what you want to achieve just by the few stupid words that they said to you. It's about their stuff. Like, when it feels really wrong to you, when someone says something to you and you're like, that's not true, really listen to that feeling in your body. You'll feel it in your body, in your heart, that like, oh, no, that's not true. It's not. You know it's not. Your body doesn't lie. It knows it's not. Just let them walk into the sunset and burn in the fire, basically. I will give you the 6 things to basically overcome self-doubt in a row, just so that you can kind of think about them. And I'll give you a few, insights that I've had. So if someone says something discouraging to you, opinions aren't truth. Their stuff, their insecurities, their projections of how miserable they are onto you, that has nothing to do with you. So just try as hard as you can to just logically get it in your brain and then let it roll off your back. Okay, 2, this is a good one. If you are trying to do something big in your life, it's going to take some time. Growth takes time, and you have to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with the universe and when it's providing for you. We all want it to be on our timeline, but it's really hard to get that to happen. And most of the time, if you push something, if you pressure something, if you force something to happen, it just falls apart regardless. Like, it will fall apart so much faster. So just remember, especially if you are in the creative fields, or if you're wanting to get married or meet the one or excel in your career, it just takes time. Sometimes people get lucky and it happens seemingly overnight, but it's not. It's not overnight. So please remember that. I'm going to remember that too. And then don't define yourself by a moment in time. So that's number 3. And that's something that I work on every day, because I did have a moment in time with my Me Too stuff, and it was like purgatory. It basically was purgatory in my heart and in my brain for years, because I didn't move forward in what I really, really needed to do and what I was put here to do on this planet. And so do not let that one moment, and it's hard to, because it's not like, there's so many different variations and levels of trauma, right? Sometimes you just never get over something. You just don't. You learn to accept it, logically understand it, but it's still there, and you just try to not give it not let it have the power. So I'm not going to say I would never tell someone to just get over it. I hate when people say that. That's so rude, but that's so uncompassionate. Don't define yourself by that moment and think, oh, well, this happened, so it's always going to happen. Or this happened and I'm just too scared to try to even do it again, because I don't want this to happen again. 4, we talked about fear. fear is going to be there. Fear is always going to be there. People who are extremely confident are either sociopaths who can't feel anything, or they're just acting. They're pretending. They're faking it till they make it. And you know what? Sometimes that's not such a bad idea. Fake it till you make it. Seriously, trick your brain into believing that you are the thing while you are becoming the thing, because eventually you will be that thing. You will, and you will have it, and you will be doing it, and it won't be a fake anymore. You will be that thing. So don't let your fear keep you from doing it. Number 5, appreciate your uniqueness. Now, the comparison game is strong. We all are like, I should be here at a certain time in my life. I should be getting this done at this time. It's really hard for a lot of us to just accept our own uniqueness and our own life story that's playing out. You know, the biggest thing that you can do to just allow your life to be what it wants to be is to freaking just let it be. Let it unfold. When you get hits to do stuff, do it. But when you feel like it's time to rest, you know? That's the marathon of life, right? And when you have something that is different, and I mean, because we're all different. Even when you look at someone, you could look at me and be like, well, I know exactly who she is. She's this blonde white girl and she sings Disney songs. Like, I totally have her number. Do you? I don't know. Do you? Because I'm varied. I have lots of different levels to me. And this isn't clearly about like, I'm unique. But I know that we all feel that way. We all feel like, oh, I can be sized up so easily. I'm a B, and C. And this is how people see me. But you know what? You are unique and you do have interesting things. Or maybe you are extremely unique and you do not fit in and you never have. Use that. You know. Okay, so I was a songwriter for a really, really long time. I'm still a songwriter. I just don't do it professionally. And the one thing that I really learned, I read this, and I also encounter this in my own writing for other people, is that the greatest songs in the world, every writer wants to emulate, right? We see someone on TV or someone in real life and we think, I want to be like them. And then we try to be like them. But we can't actually be like them. We're like the fake generic version of them because we're not them. And it's that cheesy saying that being you is your superpower, because it is. Let them be them. Be who you are. Literally love yourself for who you are, what your hair looks like, what your butt looks like. Man, just like really envelop who you are and start loving that person, because that is your uniqueness, and where your strengths lie will naturally come up when you just start nurturing them and start getting them to a place where you're like, yeah, I do love this about myself, and people will recognize it and be like, I want to be just like her. Okay, and lastly, number 6, break big goals down. Break your big goals down, because when you look at the big, huge picture, it's terrifying. How am I supposed to climb this gigantic Everest and I'm at base camp 1 and I just put my shoes on and they're already uncomfortable, and you want me to get to base camp 2? Oh my gosh, that seems impossible. Yeah, it is, because you're looking at the entire mountain. You need to break your goals down. And as Stephanie Hamato, who comes on all the time, she's one of my best friends, she's a life coach, she always says you need to celebrate your small wins. And that's how you break your goals down too. You need to just do it step by step. So like, for instance, with myself, right? Just because I have a background in musical theater and a very big background in music does not mean that I am sitting here thinking, I'm ready to go audition for some national touring cast of Wicked. No, I'm not. So you know what I'm doing? I am breaking my goals down. I am working with a phenomenal Juilliard and Cambridge voice teacher in London. Hello, Cameron Richardson Eames, who will be on the podcast as well if he hasn't been already. He's amazing. Please go check him out at thevocalcoaches.com. Sorry, Cameron, did not mean to throw you in here to just, he's not a sponsor. I am taking dance classes because I'm rusty. I'm getting better at that. I'm videoing myself taking my dance classes to see how bad I look so that I can improve. And I'm in acting classes with Josh Fitton, who is an amazing acting coach here in LA. That's what I'm doing. And do you know how uncomfortable it is? Oh, trust me, it is. It's awful. But I know that I'm getting better because it's uncomfortable. And those are the first steps in breaking my goals down to being in the national touring cast of Wicked, playing Glinda or whatever. I mean, I do want to play Glinda. I think we all know this. So you have to break them down bit by bit, bite by bite. You do not eat an entire elephant in one gulp. You eat it bite by bite. I know that's gross, but that is the saying. And today, apparently, I'm for the sayings. So take your goal and figure out the steps to getting there. And if you don't know what the steps are, look at other people who are doing what you want to do and read their bios, read their books, listen to their podcasts, listen to how they did it, and start copying it. You know, you're going to learn along the way, and then you're going to learn a lot about yourself and what works for you and your new, happy accidents and happy learnings like along the way. And you're going to get to where you're supposed to get to. And that's the whole thing, right? No matter what anyone says to you, no matter how many haters going to hate, you're always going to get to your destination if you want it bad enough. Now, does it always look the way that we want it to look? Usually not. It's very rare. And sometimes people get what they want. They're like, this is so strange. Like, I wanted this and now I have it. And life is the same. Nothing has changed much. They're just the same person doing life, eating breakfast, I think, when we look at these big lofty goals, and then we have someone come and tell us, like, you shouldn't even try. Again, like, fuck them. But, like, look at your goal and be like, wow, I'm really brave because I'm trying to do something really hard. And I'm going to do it. And it's going to take some time, but I'm going to put the work in and I'm going to make it happen. And wherever I end up, I can always look back and say, I didn't regret the time I did this. And also, here's an added bonus thing to have this 6. Here's number 7. Don't ever feel that just because you've waited so long to do something that it means that you won't be able to do it because it's going to take so much time to do it. That time is going to go by anyway. If it's going to take you 10 years to become a doctor and now you're just starting at 40, okay, well, you wanted to be a doctor, so you're going to be a doctor in 10 years. And when that 10-year mark comes, you're never going to sit back and be like, wow, I wish I did this sooner. And even if you do feel like that, you're still going to be a doctor because you went and did what you wanted to do. And that's the thing. Like, people get hung up like, oh gosh, it's a 2-year program. 2 years? Y'all, we just went through 2 years of COVID. Oh my gosh, time goes by so quickly. And if you are doing what you love, you can be like, wow, I spent the last year training to do what I love, or moving forward to the thing that I love. And so that is what I wanted to come on and talk about today. I'm really glad that I decided to do this. I even feel better. I feel like I gave myself a pep talk. But you guys, I really hope that with this next new year, just go for what you want. Who cares what may have happened in the past? Who cares what people might say to you now? Who cares how big your fear is? Just do it anyway. And do it smart, Don't just jump in without, any kind of idea of what you're going to do. Like, plan it. Break down your goals. That's like the biggest point of my list in general is break down your goals and get there bit by bit and celebrate those wins. All right, you guys, I hope it helps you. I hope that it also helps anyone out there who's had some real rough haters, talk to them in the past or recently and just needed someone else to come on and be like, yup, they're still out there. But, just remember that we're living in a time where we're here to lift each other up, right? We're here to fix each other's crowns legitimately. My girlfriends and I, man, we are such a tribe. We are here for each other. We are totally there to make sure that we all get to where we want to get to, and lovingly doing that. It's not a competition, not some catty thing. That is for the old school broads, and I do say that word, meaning that word, that lived in a time that is so different than now. All right, you guys, be good to yourself, be good to others, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. Remember, sharing is caring. Make sure to rate the podcast and leave a review. We really rely on this to help get the podcast out there. Also, make sure to watch the video version on YouTube at That Girl the Podcast.